My original vision for this series was more of an all-encompassing one, that I'd go through my various social medias and pluck out ideas to feature from any kind of video game. Platformer, real-time strategy, simulator, Nintendo, PC, Microsoft, Sony? I don't care. I just want to see something creative. Up until now, though, we've talked, I think, exclusively about Smash Brothers. Which is fine, it's a fun topic, but I want more. So that's changing today, because today, I'm very happy to say that this is still mostly Smash Brothers. Oh well. That's what we talk about most on this channel, so that's what we have the most comments for. It makes sense. Again, nothing wrong with it. I'm just letting you know that from here on out, we will be branching out to whatever ideas pop into people's heads, regardless of what game they're talking about, or even if the game exists at all. So let's not waste any more time and begin. This first one is less of an idea and more of a passing observation, coming from Twitch chat of all places. We were playing XCOM at the time, trying to deal with these nasty critters called the Lost. Basically zombies, shake up the gameplay from turn-based cover to crowd control. Very fun. Upon seeing them, Pizza Duffy made a simple but brilliant suggestion. What if these were xenomorphs? That just... It's just an idea, it's not fleshed out, so I can't say much about it, but I'm featuring it here anyway because I want this so badly. Oh, some kind of turn-based alien predator xenomorph, just give it to me, please. But moving on, like I said before, this is still mostly Smash Brothers. And what better character to highlight than the ultimate Nintendo powerhouse, Magikarp? Wait, what? Yeah, not as a Pokeball. Black Hero 20 wants this thing as a full-on playable character. This would be the best joke character. Magikarp never stops flopping around, meaning that it never stops jumping, turning it into a purely momentum-based character. Every attack that it has is just it aggressively flopping in different directions. I don't know how feasible that would be, kinda locks out most of the moveset when you're always in the air, but the sheer hilarity of this idea is something that I would absolutely pay money for. For a more serious idea, the Jester of Jerks has a really cool idea for a Resident Evil character. One of the major aspects of Resident Evil is avoiding combat. You could argue that is the main aspect. Conserve your ammo, find other ways to get around zombies. So it doesn't make much sense to pull one of the protagonists into Smash Brothers. After all, they're supposed to be avoiding battles. So what if you added one of the monsters? The idea we discussed is Nemesis, a fighter that you have to stagger first before you deal any real damage to him. While very slow and heavy, he would hit like a bulldozer at first, and doesn't take any knockback or percentage initially. Sounds overpowered, right? But if you hit him enough times, he'll be stunned. This allows you to rack up as much percentage as you possibly can before he gets back up. Do that enough times, until, say, 100% of damage, and he mutates as all Resident Evil bosses do, becoming faster and scarier, but also taking damage and knockback as normal characters do. Not only would this emulate the feeling of Resident Evil perfectly, it would be so sick. Hard to balance, but sick. For something a little less complicated, Dr. Gamer suggests a single change to Mario's Smash moveset, replacing the cape with Cappy. This would still function as a reflector, but with a slight difference. You know how you can capture bullet bills in Odyssey? What if you could capture and temporarily control physical projectiles? What is this? Non-Nintendo stuff? On my channel? Good. Branch out, people. Company loyalty is stupid. Spider-Man on PS4 is a great game that sets itself up very nicely for a sequel, which Windy Aura has a superb idea for. We've got both Miles and Peter in this game, both of whom have spider abilities, And maybe they'll just make Miles fit some sort of sidekick role, a kind of call-in ability for Peter to use. But what if you could swap between them in the same way you switch between characters in GTA 5? Both would develop in different ways, possessing their own abilities and upgrades, both have their own stories that interact with each other, and both go off and do their own things while you're controlling the other. That's on top of the potential student-teacher dynamic that's already proven to work extremely well from Into the Spider-Verse, would make for a phenomenal sequel. I want to be clear here. I mean this as no disrespect to those who have come before. When I say this is the best character concept I've ever seen, I don't want people to get upset that I didn't like theirs as much or anything like that. I only say this because, well, this is the best concept I've seen. Weird Chill Fever brings the Goomba. An actual, playable Goomba. I am not joking, this is incredible. Using the stacking mechanic from Super Mario Odyssey, this Captain Goomba, you can tell from his flag, summons his brethren to stand on a literal pedestal over all other fighters. The number of Goombas you have and the captain's position in the stack will change up how you fight. Certain moves require you to sacrifice the members of your army, and others are harder to use depending on how high your stack is. It's a wonderfully creative concept that I don't think I can do justice here, so I'm going to link the full document in the description of this video. Please give it a read, it's so good. Man, Carney, you got me so excited for a Monster Hunter idea, but you had to make it about the worst one. How dare you? But to be fair, the bad monsters are the ones with the most room for improvements, and all of these would be pretty great for fixing the Khezu. Get some proper music so the fight isn't lame, maybe distort it in weird ways so it still fits the theme of the monster being blind, have it implant a larva in hunters for maximum grossness, but the thing I want to highlight here in particular is the Turf War. Monster Hunter World added specific awesome animations where two monsters will beat the snot out of each other. For the Khezu specifically, these could be incredible. This is a rubbery, stretchy monster, so say a Devil Ho gets its jaws on one of these things. It's Joe, Devil Joe, sorry, force of habit. It would eventually shock itself out of its grasp, but for a time, that Devil Joe is wielding a living flail. Now to end things off today, we have our patron ideas. First up is Baldarius with his concept for Shadow the Hedgehog. And I know, Shadow's a character you either hate or love. I myself am not fond of him, but that doesn't change the fact that this is a really good concept. Shadow is not an Echo Fighter here, and he doesn't use guns. Instead, he uses Chaos Power, constantly building up strength throughout the match. Much like how Rob's laser works. The longer you wait between uses, the stronger it gets. But Chaos is used over several moves, rather than just the one. These charge levels affect the power and size of your smash attacks and specials, with the specials immediately depleting the charge. And it charges based off of proximity. Shadow feeds off the chaos of battle, so you can't just run away until you're maxed out. So, obviously, you want to hold off on using those specials for 20 seconds. Hit that max charge rating for those potent smash attacks and destructive specials. But here's the thing. Since his moves draw from the same gauge, you use one and they all become worthless. That includes his recovery. Normally it's a long-range teleport, but get knocked off the stage without a charge and it just doesn't work. I don't know how balanced this is. The ridiculously powerful moves at max charge give an overpowered vibe, but you can't recover without using that charge, making it a question of if you'll even survive long enough to hit max charge in the first place. I don't know, but that's not important. What's important here is that this concept is the best. I only thought Shadow was good enough for an Echo Fighter, but after reading this, I'm still ambivalent to the character himself, but the moveset sounds so much fun. Make him a unique character, I'm sold. And if any of you want to read the full thing, the document is linked in the description. For our second and final patron idea, we have Pyrrhic Kong with his ideas to improve Little Mac. Now, not only is this a beautifully written piece, also linked in the description for your enjoyment, I don't think I can make a Little Mac video now, because I could not come up with better ideas than these. Pyrrhic Kong proposes that Little Mac does not represent himself accurately in Smash Bros. He represents Punch-Out just fine, he has extremely strong attacks that are ultimately countered by patience and consistency, but that's not Little Mac. That's the bosses. Mac is quick, a lightweight. He can't power through his foes, he has to outmaneuver them. So, new neutral special, which is actually a reworked down special, the Slip Counter. Pyrrhic Kong points out that nothing is more important to Punch-Out than dodging attacks, weaving around, looking for a place to counterattack, which is what this move does. This isn't some giant, slow, counter-killing attack. Mac just uses his quick 1-2-3 jab combo after countering, dodging out of the way and hitting back with chip damage, just like Punch-Out. If you counter a physical move on the ground, Mac will immediately rush straight into his opponent's face and start his jab combo. It's a utility counter, to close distance and wear people down, which I think absolutely nails Little Mac's character. There's a lot more to Pyrrhic Kong's concept that took me like 5 tries to say, ugh, too many C's. I'd encourage everyone to read the full piece on this. Again, it's in the description. Pyrrhic Kong is a fantastic writer and it shows here. I'll also be linking his YouTube channel, which he and a fellow named Goombachi run called Designing 4. They analyze the game design of various aspects of a level or a fight to show how they achieve the themes they're going for, and it's done brilliantly. The perfect kind of edutainment. It's entertaining to watch and makes you feel a bit smarter after doing so. Go check it out, I give it my highest recommendation. And that will wrap up this Peasant's Perspective. As you noticed, I'm pulling these ideas from several more avenues than just YouTube now. We've got Discord and Patreon. I even found one on Twitch. That does not mean you have to participate in one of those avenues to get your stuff featured. If you're interested, go for it. The links are below. But I will always take ideas from YouTube comments. I'm just making the episodes longer to compensate the extra sources. I will say that it's much easier for me to find these ideas in Discord. Having a specific channel I can scroll through is much simpler than the chaotic mess of YouTube. But it's not required. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I want to give a very special thanks to all those who shared their ideas, and I hope to see you in the next episode, coming soon. Ish. Soonish. What even is an upload schedule? Clearly I don't know. Whenever it happens, I'll see you then.